wanted to talk a minute about why my uploads have been rather sparse the last 2 or 3 weeks. Everybody's been asking me when I'm going to be doing this or doing that, computer videos and things like that. The reason is I've been very busy down here in my workshop, but I haven't been working on electronics. I've been working on the room itself and other things around the house. It's been very hectic and very busy and very stressful. Up until yesterday, this floor was basically completely full of stuff because I had everything on this end of the room tore out. I had no desk, no shelves, no anything. So all that stuff was just piled wherever I could fit it, because I'm in the process of building a new computer bench here and a heavy-duty storage shelf. I used to have a normal computer desk over here that had all my my workshop computer and a bunch of stuff stored on top of it, like these parts cabinets over here. And when I took that all out, I had nowhere to do any work down here. Everything was just jam-packed with stuff. But I'm getting close to being done with this, and I can get my computer hooked back up and get things back to normal. I do have a few projects coming up. I just need to get the time and space to work on them. And yes, there are some computers that I'm going to be looking at. I got this Dell machine and maybe a couple others. Also going to be doing some hardware swapping on my 2 workshop computers, because I'm going to move over to the Windows 7 machine that's not been getting much use, and kind of push my XP machine off to the secondary. This bench, needless to say, I've been getting a lot of use out of my table saw and my cordless drill for the past 3 weeks, and probably the other most used tool is probably the level, or I should say levels. I have 3 different ones I was using. I built this shelf. This is 20 inches deep from front to back, and it's a 2x4 frame with 2x2 braces, topped with 5/8 thick OSB, and very, very strong. And it's got a 2x4 brace that runs from the bench up to one of the floor joists. It's bolted in with 7/16 threaded rod, and this end here is held in by 5/16 carriage bolts, which are hidden behind the front trim. Construction is pretty much done on that. I've just got to stain the trim and do some touch-up work. And the bench, I've just got to finish the clear coating and finish the front trim. Other than that, it's just about ready. The bench is actually built on a 2x3 frame, for the reason being it doesn't need to hold a crazy amount of weight, but it's still strong enough that I can stand on it, and it hardly moves at all. It is braced in the center and attached to the bottom of this existing bench, which is even more ridiculously strong than anything I've built. This is actually a 2x4 frame with very heavy bracing and 2 layers of 3/4 inch particle board on top of that, and then a layer of 1/4 inch plywood for the kind of what I would call disposable top, which I'm going to be changing out pretty soon here with some fresh wood and staining it to match that one. I had to do a lot of work because this end of the bench, years ago, I had cut it off probably right about here so I could put some equipment in this corner of the room, and I didn't need the bench to be that long at the time. But a couple years later I reattached it, and you know, being the dumb teenager I was, I didn't properly level it, and I found out that the front was actually almost a 1/2 inch lower than the back, so I had to unscrew it from the wall and re-level that, and that was a pain. I actually used my hydraulic jack, which is still sitting underneath the bench down there. First time I went to use it, it was out of fluid, so I had to go back up to the hardware and get some fluid and fill that, and finally got this all leveled up and fixed. Got this stuff all perfectly level, though it's kind of a moot point because this house is anything but straight and square. In fact, you can see just how crooked the walls are. See the edge of the bench there? This bench is square, but look at this gap. The reason is the walls down here in the basement are attached to, I think they're 1x4s, which are anchored directly to the poured concrete walls of the foundation. It's not a stud wall. So of course that 100-year-old concrete's not perfectly straight, and that's the reason why everything is so messed up. But nonetheless, I've got everything installed the best I could, and I think it's going to be great when it's done. I'm going to have plenty of room to work, and got my under cabinet light here, which I might be upgrading soon. What else? Back in there you can see my little Behringer mixer. It's a Zenix 802. Just bought that the other day. I had one before, but it was giving me problems because it was an older one. I didn't feel like messing with it as cheap as those things were, so I picked up a new one. That is what sends my signals from this computer into both of these EQ and limiter units in the rack here. One is for my test bench when I'm working on an amp over here, and the other one goes into this little BGW amp, which runs these old Utah speakers that are under my workbench. You probably can't see them. There's old wood grain Utah speakers. I've had videos about them in the past. It's a good sounding system for the workshop though. This rack up here currently is just storage, keeping things out of the way. I'm going to be mounting these parts cabinets up on the wall once I figure a good arrangement for that. Get this end of the bench cleared off. Once I've got my computer bench, I'll have all that stuff put away. What else has been going on? Not much really, just a lot of moving things around. I've always liked the sound of that little fan. I actually trash picked that when I was a teenager, and all it needed was a bit of oil and some cleaning up, and that fan has gone to college with me and back and everything. It's been around. I do have some more repair videos coming up and some computer videos once I get everything figured out and in order here. I think there's 3 computers down here, maybe 4, and also this big Dell machine that's up here on the shelf. I think it's a dual Xeon system. I'm looking forward to checking this one out. I just got this one recently. Can't think of much else. Had to tear this whole ceiling out to gain access to the gas pipe that goes up and across. It's got a very slow leak that I need to have fixed eventually, but I had to cut those ceiling panels to make them smaller so I could remove them easily when I got to work on the pipe again. Same thing is going on in the other room. It's been a real mess, and I've still got a lot of work left to do with putting the ceiling back together. But I'll do an update video on this when more progress happens. Hopefully in a week or 2. I think next weekend is a 3-day weekend, so maybe I'll get it all finished up and things will be all set, and we'll do some more computer stuff. So stay tuned.